Okay, so you have chosen to work with the method brainwalking. So here are a few things that might be useful to keep in mind while you're working with the method. First of all, it's actually a really great way to get your participants up on their feet, meaning that you can kind of energize the room and kind of keep the energy level going. So it's in that sense, it's a really useful way in the middle of a workshop to get people kind of get the blood running. Another really important thing to keep in mind is that if you are creating these mind maps and you're walking between the templates, you know, the further you get along into the method, the more difficult it becomes to fill out these mind maps. It becomes more difficult to add more information because the mind maps are quite filled out already. So just keep that in mind and let your participants know that even though it might be frustrating, it's perfectly normal and there's nothing wrong with it. But even though you feel that it might be hard to fill in and people might have a difficulty coming up with more information, you still need to make sure that every participant has the opportunity to fill in all of the templates, even though they might not have anything to add. It's just a way to make them feel included, and you know, it's just a good practice to keep in mind when you're doing this method. Another way to work with brainwalking is to, for instance, if you have people that have mobility issues and cannot walk around the table, you might consider shifting the templates instead of having people walking around. Then of course you might not get the same energy level, but you know, it's a compromise that's worth doing to accommodate the participants you have. So that's what we wanted you to know about brainwalking.